this is going to be a hot take, but I think that right now, Andrade El Idolo might just be the most interesting character in all of professional wrestling. And here's why. When you go back and look at some of the most cool and provocative characters in the history of pro wrestling, the one thing that they all have in common is they give a sense of realness that no amount of kayfabe can make up for. I think right now, that mystique, that aura, for lack of a better term, that is what Andrade has. Ever since the entire ordeal with him leaving WWE, getting fired, and then coming back to AEW, only to have the legal ramifications of a non-compete get in the way, then being taken off of AEW, potentially having renegotiations with WWE, and then finally returning to AEW earlier this year. The one thing that you can say about Andrade is that nothing's for sure. And to me, you combine that with the way he's been acting. Even though he is part of the Don Callis family, Andrade walks around with the coolness of a babyface. He has so much aura. He's so nonchalant. The man is literally at ringside every single week, giving women his number, taking selfies, living his best life, taking his pants off, taking his shirt off, doing whatever the fans want, and people are reveling in it to the point where the man went face to face with the AEW World Champion MJF, and the fans were chanting Idolo. Right now, this character is everything you could have ever wanted out of what AEW should do with the Andrade persona. They should make Andrade feel like a loose cannon. They should make Andrade a bit of a unicorn, because I think for the first time in his entire career, everything is hitting for Andrade. He has always been a fantastic in-ring performer. No one has ever doubted that. No one has ever said that Andrade does not have good matches. He has had some of the best in-ring matches of the past decade. That is not up for question. What people have always said, and the knock that has always persisted with him, is his inability to cut promos and his inability to connect with the audience as a character. And I think that his connectivity with the AEW audience right now is to the point where it doesn't even matter if he says a word. His actions speak way louder. And that is the best way for him, I think, to overcome some of those criticisms that have been levied against him over the past couple of years. And he's doing it. And I think I would take it even a step further. I think right now, Andrade is one of the few heels that is poised for a major babyface push, to the point where I genuinely believe, if given the right amount of care, you could probably put him in the world title picture and have him be a serious threat, to the point where Tony Khan would have to think about putting the belt on him. Like, the Andrade character right now is just so entertaining. He comes out to a hero's welcome no matter what town he's in. He looks cool walking to the ring. He's got this confidence and this swag that feels earned now because of everything that has happened. And take that with the history that Andrade has, not just of what I mentioned about his end with WWE, but the fact that he left AEW before, went back to WWE, and then only 2 years later returned to AEW. And by the way, this is after he had already went back and forth back during the pandemic, which was nuts. But my point is, Andrade is a bit of a throwback to a character like a Brian Pillman on a much different scale. Like, Andrade is not going to go to other promotions and do crash out promos. Tony Khan is not going to legitimately fire him from his contract so that he can go and sign and make this more believable. But what I do think that they can do is troll to the point where you don't know whether Andrade is actually feeling some type of way, or if He's just playing the character. And in the modern day setting of professional wrestling, when you know that the vast majority of what you're seeing is a work and it's not real, I think some of the coolest stuff that you can do is blur those lines. And when those lines are blurred, that's where the fun begins. And with a character like the one that Andrade is portraying, that's where I think you could have the most fun, because he's not doing it by shooting on people, by going after the low-hanging fruit that persists in people's lives, by making fun of their parents, by making fun of a dead relative. No. Instead, he's just doing it by telling you, I am Andrade, and I don't give a single solitary shit what I do or what the consequences of my actions may be. I'm gonna just do them because I'm that dude. And when people start to believe it like they are now, that is a recipe for amazing character work to follow. And what can follow, I think, is Andrade competing against MJF for the World Championship. Now, do I think he's going to win the AEW World Championship now? No, but you also have to remember that merch sales and just how over you get can definitely change these circumstances. There very well could be a time, if Andrade is still over in a couple of months, that they have to sit down and say, okay, how are we going to do it? And if you tell me that Andrade walking around with the AEW World Championship wouldn't be the funniest thing on social media, the dude who says whatever he wants in interviews, the dude who goes around with this ideal self-worth, the dude who goes around like posting pictures of himself like half naked in bed and all this other stuff, like, it would be insane. And I think it would bring back a feeling of fun to AEW that I feel like it's kind of been missing. AEW's done a fantastic job over the past couple of years of feeling like a place where you have not only fantastic storytelling, but also fantastic wrestling. But I think there's a fun element that has been lacking in AEW that Andrade is almost single-handedly right now bringing back. So in that way, I think that Andrade has kind of been saved by AEW. Like, they took this character that everyone said wouldn't work. This guy who had great in-ring ability, but had just been written off as a good hand, and now made him one of the most viral and cool things in professional wrestling. And that is an achievement, but it's only one if they can keep it up. Will they, though? Hey, I guess we'll see.